Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is MacDaddy1911A1. This video will be cross-platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Viral Herd, and Patreon. It will be a free video on all the platforms other than the normal monetization across each platform. This video here will be on lubrication. Specifically more along the lines of firearm lubrication, such as the rim oil that I have here. But the introduction that I'd shot originally for this video was specifically for Viral Herd. And then I come to find out that you have to either upload to Vimeo and or YouTube in order for it to work. Same thing with Patreon. So this is going to be a cross-platform video. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my contention, as Lucas Oil Products states on their bottle and their jug, that oil alone is not enough. Especially when you're dealing with an all-steel firearm such as a 1911 A1 handgun and or M14 rifle and or an AR platform or whatever the case may be. What gave me the idea to do this video is indirectly related to the Military Arms channel gauntlet testing. It is my contention, my belief indeed, that the CLP, I believe it is, the cleaner lubricant protectant lube that he is using on those different handguns for his gauntlet testing is where the guns are failing. They simply do not have enough lubrication to continue, and it allow trash and garbage and so forth to get into the works of the system. Now this will be a multi-part series, and we're going to do some not very scientific testing, but some testing nonetheless, to show you the visual examples of how well each of the lubricants that I'm going to test does in different applications in different ways. To start off with, we're going to show you how fast it is absorbed into cardboard and how fast it evaporates. Now I know cardboard has nothing to do with firearms. Absolutely, that is correct, no doubt about it. It sounds absolutely nuts, but it will give you an illustration of how thin your typical gun oil is in comparison to automotive lubricants. That's number one. Number two, it would also show you how fast it can disperse and separate. The second test will involve a piece of flat metal in which we simply put a drop or a gob, because we're also going to be testing grease. And I have one grease here that is manufactured for firearms. This is Lubriplate 130A. I got this tub from Brownells. I use this on my M14 rifle as well as my 1911s. But it is specifically manufactured for firearms. It was manufactured originally for the M14, M1 type action. And it came into being after the Korean War, in which our troops experienced for very long periods of time minus 70 below zero temperatures, not simply wind chill factor, but actual minus 70 below zero Fahrenheit. So very, 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 very cold temperatures, and the guns, if they had any oil at the time on them, any moisture, would literally freeze solid. So the testing that I'm going to conduct may or may not apply to you where you live. That will be up to you to find out for your darn self. I live in Northwest Georgia, not too far from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I think the coldest it's ever been here since I lived in this area when I was actually at home was about -5, and then somewhere in the neighborhood of -15 wind chill factor, and that lasted for a very, very short time. If it gets that cold this year, and if I happen to be home while it is that cold, I will definitely do a live fire test with my handgun and the rifle in order to prove that indeed my way of lubricating a firearm will work in that extreme temperature. And of course, the hotter it gets, the thinner the lube is anyway, so you should not have a problem with that. It is my contention that the thin damn gun oils that are being used nowadays, conventional type oils, are just too damn thin. Okay, they get down into the parts real well, but they can wash off real quickly in water, and they're simply not enough to prevent grit and crap and crud from getting into the slide action parts of the weapon, regardless if it is the bolt carrier group inside an AR-15, the bolt and op rod on an M1A, the slide on any type of semi-automatic handgun. Eventually, the last video in the series will be my new Colt combat unit being demonstrated in the gauntlet test. The only difference between my gauntlet test and the one that the Military Arms channel does is I will lubricate it to succeed. Okay, he lubricates all the handguns he tests with the same exact lubricant, the CLP. Okay, it's fairly popular, I guess, out there, and for planking at the range, I think it's okay. I guess there's nothing wrong with it. However, as I just stated, it is my contention and my belief that if you use such a thin damn oil, dirt, mud, grit, crap will get into the slide, in between the rails of the slide and the rails of the frame, and it will bind, and then it will choke. And I'm not setting out to fail. I'm setting out to succeed. So that will be the very final video. It will be a little bit of time in coming, because of still wanting to put a medium length trigger on the 1911, but I'll need to fit it correctly to the frame so that it doesn't allow more dirt and crap to get into the action. Once that's done, then the test will be immediately thereafter. But anywho, this is the very first video in the series. It will be across platforms, so just check it out and you guys can see as the testing progresses. The first test, of course, as I stated, is on the cardboard. It will be for evaporation and absorption. Okay, and the second test will be on metal, and simply wanting to see how the different lubricants hold up on a metal surface that has been put into water for an entire week. And these two tests I've already concluded and I've already got, and so I'm going to go ahead and publish those. But this is Mac Daddy 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalist. Please stay tuned and you'll see what I'm talking about. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the very first test we are going to do is, I guess you'd call it the drip test. The run test. And basically all I've got is a piece of cardboard up here, and I've got the information for each lubricant written at the top of each column. Okay, and I've got it separated, and we've got it in two categories. To the far right, split right down the middle between the two, is the gun oils. We're going to be using clean bore TW25B, as well as the rim oil with the VCI Teflon technology. Those are the only two gun oils I have available. I thought I had some outers, cannot find it to save my life. So those will be the two purely gun-related gun oils. Then we'll have a column for Mobile One 10W40 extended, 10W40 automotive engine oil. Then we have the SuperTech 80W90 gear oil. This would be like what you would put in a standard transmission and or rear differential on your automobile. Then we have the Castrol High HD high detergent, I guess is what that means, SAE 30, like you would run in a lawnmower, an air-cooled engine. Then the next category is the Lucas Oil Stabilizer, which can be added to any of the above or to any of the columns to the right. And then to the very far left, those two columns are for the grease, the Lubriplate 130A, all the way to the very far left, which will be using the Lubriplate that I use on my M14, as well as a Coastal brand NGLI grade number 2 grease. This is chassis grease like you use in your ball joints, your CV not CV joints, but your ball joints, your towel rod ends, drive shaft, universal joints, the slip joint in the drive shaft of your automobile, your pickup trucks nowadays pretty much, as well as on the fifth wheel of a heavy duty truck and other applications, many others out there. So that's what we're going to do. This is how we've got it set up, and we're going to try to make a uniform drop of each, so that the weight of the oil itself, will see how well it'll run. Now I'm going to reset the camera back up and begin. Okay, before we begin, a lot of the lubricants I'm going to be testing, such as the rim oil, have a spray nozzle. Okay, so we can't get it at a uniform drop. So what we're going to use is just dip a pencil in there and use it to get us a drop. We tried a Phillips head screwdriver; it would not work. Let's see if we can get the pencil to work and get us a drop. Now, I can tell you now, because this is cardboard, it's going to see if we can get a drop going. All right, got us a drop, and we're going to hold it right there on that line, and it just soaks right in. Okay, soaks right in. So it's pretty damn thin stuff. It would get inside the moving parts really well if you do not disassemble the gun. All right, we're wiping it back off. And the next one has a dropper, the TW25B from Clean Bore. Let's see if we can get us a nice drop going. Oh, got a much bigger drop, so it's going to run a little bit further. This is just hard to do. All right, the next one is a bottle of Mobile One 10W40 extended service for engines that are that you don't want to change oil ever so often. But this is it, and my God, I got plenty on it, so I'm gonna have to let it drip a bit. Let's get, and you can see it's a lot thicker. Lot thicker. So we got 2 drips there, so we have to discount that one right there. I'll put a mark on it. And it's a lot thicker. It still has a drop that's steadily moving downward. Now the Castrol, no, SuperTech, I split those up for a reason. This is 80W90 gear oil. And yes, I wiped the, ooh, that's some thick stuff. Have to wait till some of it drips off. SuperTech 80W90 gear oil. Wipe the pencil back off. Then the HD from Castrol. I don't have but a very little bit of this because I've been using a lot of 30-weight motor oil on air-cooled engine applications this past year. I got a lawnmower that's just giving me all kinds of fits. All right, there's the HD 30 from Castrol. Now, the fun one, Lucas Oil Stabilizer. And I'll bet this is the one I haven't opened yet because I've got 2 of these. I'm going to open it up right quick. Now, this one's the fun one because this stuff is so damn sticky. It will string right on and right on and right on. So getting it to release is the fun part without getting grease or this stuff all over everything. All right. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but it's stringing out. It is a pain in the damn ass. Wipe the pencil back off. And look. That stuff is something else. It is like honey. The way it adheres, it sticks. It is ridiculous. But it is slowly making its way on down. And the NGLI number 2 grease. This one's black. I was thinking it was red, but it's actually black or a dark gray. Put a nice gob of it up there. Alright. It's pretty dang gum tacky. It wanted to stick to my finger. But I got that. And no, I'm not going to just wipe that off. We're going to put that back. Every little bit counts. I believe in saving. Yeah, even that little bit. Who knows when I'll need it. But the grease is a different type of lubricant, so we're just putting it up there as an illustration. For illustration purposes only. And I'm going to leave the camera running even though I'm not there. Because I want to just to let you guys watch it live action. And I'm going to zoom in on some of this because the thinner stuff is already soaked. It's completely soaked into the cardboard. Completely. The thicker stuff still has a drop. Alright, and here's some of the NLGI. Excuse me. Ha. This is the Lubriplate 130A firearm lubricant. Alright, designed specifically for the M1 Garand action, M14 action. And this was designed after the Korean War, when they had the experience of all the lubricants freezing. And you can see, of course, the grease is not going anywhere. Let me show you this Lucas right quick. Look at that drop still on there. Now it hasn't been up there nearly as long, but you can see that drop very, very well. The Castrol HD30, it's already soaked all the way in. The SuperTech 80W90 has already soaked in. The Mobile One 10W40, it has soaked in. The clean bore next to it has soaked right on in. I guess if I did that. And the rim oil, that's the best drop I could get, and it literally is just soaked completely, totally in. It's so thin. Just going back left to right, you can see the results. That one's still quite, I mean, it's very damp still. All the automotive oils are still damp. But the Lucas still has a big fat drop right at the bottom of it. And of course the grease. Now you can see this grease here, the cardboard is wicking the oil right out of it. But the Lubriplate 130A, it's not doing that yet. I don't know if it will or not, but that is the Lubriplate right there. And you can see it is, and it's got some, the actual, well, I don't know, that's probably from where the box was separated. It's probably off the other portion of the box. But that's, you know, sort of furry, fibrous, I should say. You know, furry's not really a good term for a scientific video. How about fibrous? But there's some fibers here that are sticking up to make it sort of, you know, should be wicking it up quite a bit more. And this grease is, let's move it around a little bit and see if there's, get the shadow off of it. But yeah, you know. I'll come back in 10 minutes. All right, so I went a bit over 10 minutes. So let's back the camera back out so you guys can see all this. And there you go. All right, this one here is gone. I mean, it's pretty much been soaked in. That's the rim oil. The clean bore, it's soaked in. it had made it a whole lot further. The Mobile 1, a much thicker 10W40 extended service, it made it to that far, so not quite as far as the clean bore, which was much thinner. The SuperTech 8090, much thicker, it made it even further down, and there is still some residue of it. The Castrol 30 weight here is completely absorbed. This one has a very fine layer that I can see, and this one here is wet from the top all the way to the bottom where the remaining, the drop still remains. Let me see if I can get an angle on it so you guys can actually see that. Okay, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but from my angle, there is definitely a sheen still on it, and there is a definite drop at the bottom. Okay. Then of course you've got your grease, your two types of grease, the NGLI #2 here, and the Lubriplate 130A. The Lubriplate has not soaked into the cardboard very much at all. The Coastal NGLI #2 grease has, but it is still very much there. And the Lucas is very much there. There is a sheen. Let me show you. Okay. So that'll give you an idea. Okay. Let me wipe my finger off really well. Like I said, this is not really a scientific test, but oil alone, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, for a firearm, depending on the application, is simply not enough. Okay. Let's move over here. There's nothing. There's nothing. It's just not coming off. You cannot see anything. Now this is the 80W90. It has pretty much, not all the way, there's just a touch, but it has not soaked in, so it is still present. Cardboard, of course, is not the test medium that we really wanted to test, but we'll save that for another video. And once I have completed all the lubricant testing, then we're really going to have a good video, because we're going to do the gauntlet test with the Colt Combat Unit 1911 45 rail gun that I purchased last year. And this is December, God, well, I should have had it on my damn phone a while ago and I didn't even look. I haven't done a logbook yet today, so it's December the 17th, 2017. And but yeah, we're going to leave this attached and vertically standing for the rest of the week, and we'll begin the next lubricant test video with this, so you'll have results after an entire week, and we'll go from there. This is Mac Daddy 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalists. Thank you very much for watching. You guys stay tuned here on the Viral Herd, because now that I've found this new video sharing site, we will definitely be giving YouTube the middle finger, and we will be putting videos up here more than likely. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all take care. I guess it has focused. It's 8:22 a.m. Saturday, December the 23rd, 2017. And this was the cardboard that we did the testing on. As you can see, the rim oil is completely been absorbed and evaporated. The clean bore, it has spread out, but it's still there. The Mobile 1 10W40, the SuperTech 80W90, the Castrol High Detergent SAE 30, the Lucas Oil Stabilizer, the Coastal NGLI #2 grease, as well as the Lubriplate 130A. Let's see something. Yeah, I mean, it's completely absorbed in there. Definitely has. But the grease, as you can see, is still there, and you can see on the Lubriplate it finally started to soak in where I put it up there. But that's experiment number 1, and I'll change the battery on the camera because it's flashing, and we will proceed to the results of video number 2, the water.